back to Badteacherpodcast. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today my non-educator friend is once again my hubby, Eric. Eric, say hi.
Hello.
And remind us again what you do for...
I'm in the construction world.
I get annoyed with that, but that's the whole point,
The whole point?
is
I'm in the construction world, everybody.
sharing my crazy teacher stories and other crazy teacher stories to people who are not in the education field to remind you that this is real life. How many times did I come home with a story and you're like, Tiff, is that real?
Too many times.
Got to the point.
I've asked you to stop telling me some stories because they get sad.
Eric doesn't like the depressing stories, and I have a lot of depressing stories.
It makes me sad.
Nobody likes a sad husband.
No one.
It really did get to the point where there were so many heavy stories that I had to check it at school and then leave and just not air it out when I got home. But that's the point of this now. I can air it all out. And still
to a bunch of other people too.
Still to you.
Not all to me though.
Still to you though.
Enough that I can handle. I'm not a teacher. I can't deal with all of it. That's for sure.
He doesn't have the emotional capacity.
I can't. Put a drill bit through my foot. I'm good.
That's a true story.
This stuff I can't do.
He called me one time while I was at work. I have never had a phone call from him in the middle of teaching. So I knew it was important. And he's like, you got to come get me. Why do I have to come get you? There's a drill bit in my foot. I don't know what that means. Why am I coming to get you?
There's a drill bit in my foot.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
He shuffled him to the ER. And where they kind of laughed at him because they're like, how do you get a drill bit in your foot?
Now everybody else is going to laugh at me. So thanks.
Well, how'd you get a drill bit in your foot?
I don't really know or understand how it all happened. It just happened. And I had to deal with it.
Threw a boot through his foot. But anyways, today we're going to talk about, I don't think I ever told you this story, but fighting. I want to bring up one fight that I thought was one of my craziest ones that I've had to deal with, but fighting in elementary school. I don't think when I started teaching elementary school, I realized how many kids got in fights in elementary school. Did you ever get in a fight in elementary school?
I have.
In elementary?
I've been in a few fights.
In elementary?
In elementary.
5th, 6th?
I don't really remember grades. Probably every year.
Every year?
Probably.
Okay, well...
I was defensive of my sister. I was defensive of friends. And sometimes it happens. Not like bad fights.
Fist fights?
Well, I mean, as bad as it can get with a 3rd grader punching, I guess. Yeah,
okay.
Fist fight, but nothing crazy.
We led 2 very different elementary lives. I was very goody two-shoe, minded my P's and Q's, and fighting would have never come across my mind in elementary school.
Just sometimes happens.
Maybe
Playing
that's
football.
Okay.
Just sometimes happens.
I mean, those fights happened all the time when I was teaching. All the time.
Football fights. Those types of fights, I guess.
I'm talking like some crazy ones.
Maybe I'm not crazy, no.
This one time, so this is when I was an instructional coach, so sometimes I had to jump in and help with fights and like mediating and figuring out whose side, this side, whatever. So we were shorthanded one day and we saw on the cameras, this is a 5th grade boy. He just goes over to another 5th grade boy and just jumps on him. Watching the camera footage, we're like, there is no rhyme or reason.
Camera footage?
Yeah, we had cameras. Not high tech, but as high tech as an elementary school can get.
Oh, well, okay.
You didn't think we had cameras?
I did not know.
Just a few here and there.
Okay.
But we watched, there was no sound. So, I mean, but from the looks of it, this boy is just standing there doing his own thing. And another boy just walks over and just jumps on him. And
premeditated.
Yes.
Oh.
Which I think that is what blows my mind of a 5th grader having a premeditated fight ready to go. I didn't picture that happening as much as it happened.
I never had that in elementary. Mine was just got mad real quick, did something, that was it.
Okay, so yeah, that's more common. I kind of, like little tussles, I guess you could say, but right. Full on like thinking about this, planning this, and yeah, this kid just jumps on another. We see the recess monitors pulling them off each other. And obviously, once one kid jumps on another, it becomes 5 kids on 5. I mean, giant fight.
Buddies jumped in.
Of course.
Oh.
Yeah. So I, as the instructional coach, had to help with behavior sometimes. And so the principal asked me to interview one of the kids, and it just happened to be the kid that started the fight. And so I sit him down. I'm like, dude, like, what happened? And he refused to talk at first. He just kind of sat there and he's like, I'm not talking to you. I was like, okay, I'll wait when you're ready. Come to find out, when I finally get him to open up, I was like, what started this? And he's like, well, a month ago. And I was like,
a month ago?
Yes.
Oh.
I was like, a month ago? He's like, yeah, a month ago, he called me. He said my hair was dumb. And I was like, a month ago, this other kid said your hair looked dumb. And I was like, okay, well, why all of a sudden today? He's like, well, and he said this to me, and it kind of like scared me that day. He said, well, I wanted him to forget that he made me mad so that
I could have a step on him.
Exactly.
An advantage.
Exactly.
Smart kid.
He's 11.
Smart kid.
Smart.
Crazy, but smart.
For a 5th grader? I was just, what? So blown away. He literally said, he's like, well, I wanted him to forget how we kind of got mad at each other. So that way, when I knew it was my chance, I would get him back good.
That's crazy.
I mean, and he did.
Did the parents teach him this? Possibly. Went home, this kid said this, dad's like, all right, that's what you do?
I don't. Actually, this kid, his parents, this poor kid, he did have a rough life. Like, he bounced back and forth between states where his parents...
This is where it's getting depressing and sad.
This is where you don't like to hear, yeah. So his dad and mom split up a couple years back because he was actually one of my 3rd grade students. Both of them were my 3rd grade students, and then they were in 5th grade when this happened. And so he had bounced back and forth. In 3rd grade, he was in Utah living with mom. And then 4th grade, he'd moved to live in California with dad. And then dad sent him back to mom, and he didn't get to see dad. And then it sounds like dad was like in and out of jail a little bit, and mom was working a lot, so grandma helped raise them a lot too. But so, I mean, he had a troubled past, but I'm just, still just blown away by the thought process. Because clearly you're right. He'd probably seen his parents do this back and forth kind of thing too.
Something. How can I get them back?
Yeah.
Sometimes divorces and all that, they don't talk highly of the other.
Yes. And he had a little sister, and actually had 2 little sisters. So he kind of was taking on this dad role, but he didn't know how to take it on. So he thought the best way to do that was to act like how he'd seen on TV kind of thing. So a kid talking smack meant I'm going to get him back. But
deal with it.
I never in my wildest dreams when I wanted to become a teacher thought that these were the type of fights that I would be dealing with 5th graders. You're talking about fights you had in elementary school.
I did slam a kid into the wall one time. Might have hit his head. I don't know. It wasn't bad, but yeah, we got in some fights. That one was when he made fun of my friend or something.
Yeah, and those little fights happen all the time at recess. Oh, he called me stupid, or we're playing football and he touched me, and this is not tackle football. We're not allowed to, and they just, ugh. But apparently this kid too. So obviously the other friends had jumped in. The other friends had known about this too. So they had been planning
for a month.
How
are they that dedicated?
Right?
For one real thing. Yeah.
Can't turn in any homework or...
A month of that.
But a month of... These kids are street smart nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have the stamina to finish one book, but we're going to, for a month, plan out how we are going to get this kid back.
Maybe boxing, MMA is in the future.
So then when you go back to the camera footage and you look at this again from the viewpoint of knowing that he had planned this and like waited for the opportune moment, like, oh, you can see his friends like whispering, knowing what's going to happen and waiting for it kind of thing. And then all the little like,
Johnny's about to do it.
yeah,
Guys, look.
it's happening now. And then he saw his moment and he took it. All because
And where was the teacher?
this was outside.
Oh.
We didn't have to go outside for recess. We were those lucky teachers. Well, basically, you throw some recess monitors out there who were just like, let's be real, they're just people who work there for a month and then realize, oh, this is not good, I'm going to quit. And then we get another one a month later. And so the kids know that if it's a new recess monitor or a sub, oh, things are going to happen if it's a sub. They know.
That's crazy.
Again, kids are street smart. The level of street smart.
Only boys involved.
In this one, yeah.
Okay.
There's been plenty of other fights where the girls, again, another like thing that I didn't think would happen. Girls manipulating boys in 5th and 6th grade to fight each other.
Ah.
Yeah, there was a lot of that too. And I think
girls.
Text messages, Snapchat.
Oh yeah, that's gotta make things way worse.
Oh.
That wasn't a part of my childhood.
Same.
Didn't have Snapchat in 5th grade.
Yeah, same.
Which is pretty nice.
But when you throw that into the mix, we had some crazy fights over just Snapchat.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Snapchat fights. And there was like girls that, and again, it blows my mind that these were 10, 11, 12-year-olds Snapchatting each other, boyfriend, girlfriends, and then like, oh, she sent a snap to this person's boyfriend, and then all of a sudden, oh, got a whole new fight.
Yeah, that's different.
Like, I spent so much time as an instructional coach, like putting out fires. Instructional coach, my job description was to help new teachers teach.
Oh.
Nowhere in my job description was it figure out who Snapchat sent this kid and how we're breaking up a fight today. There were plenty of times too where I had to go outside to help out at recess to try and prevent. If we have extra people out there, extra bodies, because we feel like a fight's going to happen today, throw extra bodies out so that way a fight doesn't happen.
They will hold off a month, apparently. To make this happen.
A month is where, yeah, they will go. Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
Yeah.
I couldn't. We used to do like check yes or no, like the country song.
Yeah.
Little simple notes.
I miss simple notes.
Snapchats.
Yeah. Remember when passing
Texts.
notes was the biggest, and now we've got premeditated fights for a month.
Right.
Don't tell someone their hair is done.
I would never. Oh yeah. The
Street
stress
smart.
that kids have at such a young age. I'm glad I didn't have to do it.
I will say, yeah, this kid had a lot of stress. So adding the stress at a younger age, I will say, yeah, that there was a level of me that even though I was like, whoa, you're psycho, when he told me how he had waited and premeditated all this, there was another part of me that was like, I feel so bad because this is where your mind is going in these dark places.
Yeah, so quickly.
So quickly to just hurt another kid. Also, that level of street smart, if those kids just channeled it into education, math, geniuses, all of them.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll think twice before saying anything to a 5th grader. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? Street smart edition.
Start the TV show.
Here we go. Until next time. Peace.